versus Polt. And here we go, spawning over to the bottom right-hand position as the red Terran. It is Polt. Just took out his Zerg opponent Revival last game. His opponent spawning in the top left-hand position is the blue Protoss. It is root for root, Sage.
And Polt, in the past, I think he's shown that he's one of the best TVP players there is, actually. Lately, he's faltered a tiny bit at the WCA's Global Finals against the Protoss first, but I think still he's one of the best TVP players there is. So I think Sage is going to have his work cut out for him here.
I love Polt's play because it's so composition-driven. Like, a lot of these Terrans are normally doing like some sort of Marine Marauder medevac build. They're putting on a lot of pressure, and all of a sudden there's like a light switch where as soon as High Templars are out, they're completely unprepared, and then they just get walked over. Or that timing is going to be hit with the Terran. They're able to throw SCVs at them. There's not enough storms, and all of a sudden the Terran wins. And I really feel like that's too inconsistent in TVP. It's not a reliable way to do it. And once Protoss has figured out on how to accurately defend against that, whether it's just warping in a round of sentries and just force fielding just for a little bit longer, that's going to be the solution, something like that. But Polt isn't like that. I want you guys to really concentrate on how he scouts his opponent's composition and how he adjusts it accordingly, whether he goes preemptive ghost or reactive ghost.
And do you see what Sage is doing, actually? He has a pylon hidden up here
Sneaky.
pretty early in the game. I think this could be a good choice. I think in a macro game, I think most people would favor Polt. So maybe trying to catch him off guard in this first game is a good choice by Sage.
Yeah, definitely so. And I feel like this is really powerful because especially these days, 2 assimilators are really common. You see this all the time as Terran versus Protoss.
Yeah.
So when this SCV gets in there, he's going to see nothing unusual.
It might notice that there's actually 3 probes on both assimilators, though.
Yeah,
normally they take 2 this quick, but then they have 2 workers in each gas. So that could kind of tip him off a little bit.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Terrans won't read into that much, but Polt will.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like a lot of Terrans aren't seasoned enough to understand that.
A lot of people underestimate like how well these top players can actually make reads. Like actually at ASUS, I lost to Tasia. He read that I had like 1 to 2 drones too little and knew I had a proxy hatchery on his side of the map. So Polt, I think he's going to catch on.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did he say that to you?
Yeah, he said that in the interview after.
That's so sick.
So I think Polt will catch on to this
so
very
sick.
slightly later Nexus and the extra gas being mined from the simulators.
Well,
and figure it
also,
out.
look at how many pylons there are up. Like, he only scouted 1. Normally, there's going to be a pylon back here. Normally, also, when you scout out, the 3rd pylon is going to be initiated. But he's seen 0 or just 1 pylon.
And he's looking for proxies with his Reaper. This could just be standard, but I think he knows that something a bit unusual is going on. He should have seen the Nexus by now with that SCV that he just poked in with, if there was a quick expansion, a standard play coming down.
That's right.
And seeing that, he's going to know there's some kind of proxy or some
at
kind
this.
of tech going on.
He knows, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everything makes a lot of sense. He's not teching up too quick. He's playing it very, very comprehensively. Just going to throw down his orbital command center.
now
Look at
he's
this. Even
scouting in the
retreating
ground.
this SEV. Like, the little tiny things. That's what Polt is good for.
And you saw, as soon as he saw that, did that first lap around the main base of the SCV, he started scouting so much. He scouted in again with the SCV, scouted to check the natural timing, and then scouted with the Reaper again. And he knows something's coming so early on that I think he should have the response ready to deal with it.
And you might be saying, well, he doesn't protect against Dark Templars. I'm going to say, yes, he absolutely does. He has 2 orbital command centers. He's going to be able to scan out and kill a lot of those Dark Templars. Of course, as soon as they get the upgrade from the next patch, maybe not so much. Since Dark Templars, Mr. Bitter told me that they will be slightly slower than stemmed Marines.
I think they move about as fast as Speed Overseers with the upgrade.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so sick.
But that I don't think it'll go through. So
No. It would be cool, though.
yeah, it would be.
It would be cool. Maybe we should make that into an IMBA map where they just go as fast as Mutus. That would be awesome. Husky, I'm going to call him up. Like, Mike, this is the change you need to do. Make the next patch of StarCraft.
So we actually see that Sage has thrown down a Nexus. So he's not going to go quite all in with this. I think as soon as he saw that Polt wasn't attempting to hold into his natural, he realized he probably wouldn't be able to win the game straight up.
Yeah. makes a lot of sense. And from this position, I like where Polt is going. Now, Polt is kind of reading into this that it's a 100% all-in. You can see just based on everything. But most importantly, you can see based on the fact that he doesn't have his factory up. Normally, you prioritize that ASAP directly after stim. I guess your add-ons, your major add-ons, but still you want to get that after stim. Throw down the factory as soon as possible. He doesn't have a lot of gas, so I guess he did do all that.
The situation is one that can work out for Protoss, although he kind of committed to that a bit early on. He's made a pretty good amount of Stalkers too. It's kind of hard for Polt to move out until he has Medivacs, because if he moves out, Sage can just blink into his main and backstab him.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so difficult. But having that ability to just stim around helps out so much. And from here, Polt actually sees the size of the Stalker count and knows for sure that this is not going to be an all-in. Like, there's going to be economy directly behind this. And Polt doing a good job. He knew that the blink was already used in that early stage, so he said, okay, let me take advantage of this.
I think Polt's going to want to hit some kind of timing.
Uh-oh.
But it's hard, because this is what happens when you move out for a timing. The Protoss just moves into your main.
And look at this Mothership Core. Has a recall and a photon overcharge, so that makes him so much more hardy. And he needs to be careful
Polt,
because
he's supply blocked too now. None of his units can be produced, and he's gonna lose so many SCVs, I think, to this.
Yeah, is this a position where you just
sack the natural maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, he's recalling. I think he can defend maybe with a Nexus Cannon.
Yeah, maybe.
He has a lot of Stalkers and a couple of Zealots too. And Nexus Cannon, never underestimate.
And here he goes. Big stim on all these units, trying to take out a lot of these Stalkers. I feel like just retreating might be the best position here, but Sage doing a fantastic job, and this bio army is so tiny now. Look at this. Nexus Cannon was taking out the Marauders, an intelligent move just to empower those Marauders, and a great cleanup out here from Sage. He is so far ahead. Income tab, let's take a look at it. 38 Harvesters to 30, a nice little advantage, but the fact that he has Blink over his opponent who doesn't have any major upgrades, just now getting the Starport, but when it comes down to it, I do feel like Sage, he's ahead in economy, slightly ahead in army, and having his Blink out relative to how many Medivacs there are, but the fact that Polt does have his double Starport production out, it does help out quite a bit. He may be able to retake map control.
Yeah,
from there,
I feel like
take advantages.
The game is fairly even. They both have a kind of different advantages.
Yeah.
And Sage, he has early Blink that'll help him a lot against defending kind of early pushes and medevac drops. And Polt, he's in a pretty good position upgrades-wise this game, for example. What
I think actually affects Polt so much more, though, is that the trade happened before medevacs were out. Normally, Sim Bio just gets exponentially better as you go on and you gain more and more and more, especially against Gateway Army. It just helps out so much more to have a large army and then just attack in. You're able to kill all the Zealots before they even touch you. But since there was a big trade, it makes this army a lot more manageable, and just having that, I feel like Sage knows, like, okay, I can't be attacked from multiple areas, so I can throw down my third a little bit earlier just because I know Mothership Core and my standing army will be able to cover this much area.
I like how Sage is doing a good job of controlling this map too. He has an observer in the middle, he has probes at both of the watchtowers, and he has 2 pylons on the edges of the map. So he has a pretty good idea of what's coming at him, and I think it's just up to him to defend it now. And if he defends these attacks, I think he'll be able to get a nice lead, because Polt still has no third CC in the way. He just is now starting his upgrades ahead of Sage, but that's not too big of a deal as a Protoss these days.
Yep. Colossus are out as well to just solidify his position and make sure that he's not going to die to any type of silly play. It is all the way up to 5 barracks, so that does kind of mean that Polt needs to get some sort of economic damage done or some sort of army advantage done over here. And that's going to be difficult because he already started with an army disadvantage, and relying on drops is a little bit risky because
there's Blink.
Blink is up, exactly, so he can immediately punish medevac drops.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's at least going to be able to clear out any kind of scouts on both sides of the map, but has he scanned any observers yet? I'm not sure. There's maybe 2
I
observers.
haven't heard any. So we'll see.
But it's just going to be so hard for him to get something done, and he has to do something because otherwise Sage is just going to get a bit farther ahead.
Yep. And unfortunately, I mean, I just don't see a lot that Polt can do with 2 Colossus already finished here, and Thermal Lance about to finish as well. Actually, it has finished. That means he's absolutely safe. And I think there's going to be a giant SCV pull coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Polt's best chance is to make an SCV pull before Storm is done.
Yeah.
But even that, it's going to be tough if he has good force fields. I think Sage is making a smart choice to not go for that super quick third that we talked about.
Yes.
And instead work on getting a lot of units, getting his upgrades underway, and getting a decent Colossi count out pretty quickly.
Oh, here's the big push all the way over. And it is not spotted out just yet. The units will be able to drop down. Now finally they see, wow, that's a lot of Marines and Marauders. He's going to have to pull back with his entire army. But look at this, wrapping around with Marines and Marauders. Oh my god, one of the Colossus are going to be taken out. And there's not going to be enough units back here. Planetary Nexus will go down, and wow, I don't know how Polt is doing this, killing all 3 Colossus. Are you kidding me?
With the bio on the high ground.
That is incredible. I don't know how he's able to do that, killing the Mothership Core before it was able to put down another Planetary Nexus onto the main base, really helping out this attack over here. He might be able to kill a couple more units before getting back. Oh my god, I can't believe he did that. Now picking up his TVP is incredible. I don't know. I've seen this countless times.
A pretty standard situation that you see in TVP, and he solved it. It's like, this is the perfect way to win this game.
Yeah. Blink was up. I mean, if Sage's units are slightly in better position, he's going to be able to stop that 100% of the time. But he's hitting these timings. I don't know how he's able to do it so consistently.
This was a pretty good situation for Sage just a minute ago.
Yeah,
looking at PBT, this is a situation as Protoss that you're happy to be in usually. But Polt, he just found the perfect